From the current NBA roster to retired players, analysts, and fans, the whole world celebrated LeBron's historic record, all except for Anthony Davis. He even looked a bit disgusted. That's what Bayless thought when offering his opinion on the reaction. But he believed this wasn't linked to LeBron and his record-breaking shot. As the L train roared through basketball town, it set a new record once and for all. The all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron. It was an honor not lost on the player, who was ecstatic at this moment. The cheers of the crowd were a memorable moment that will be revisited countless times in the Hall of Fame moments for arguably the GOAT.
LeBron, you are the NBA's all-time scoring leader. Congratulations.
But, GOAT or not, there's no question that a new standard has been set in the NBA, and it goes by the name LeBron James. On the other hand, the disgusted reaction of his teammate didn't go unnoticed either. It was in stark contrast to the celebrations going on around the whole court.
LeBron stands alone! The NBA's all-time scoring record!
One person remained aloof though, sitting on the sidelines. Looking at it, one might even feel he wasn't happy. Of course, that's a given since Los Angeles was tailing the Thunders at this point. This seems like a plausible and only explanation for his reaction, or shall I say, lack thereof. This is how Later clarified his actions at the historic game, especially given his own performance in the game. Anthony has been in a bit of a career slump recently, especially during this game where he scored just 2 points in the fourth quarter. A total of 6 points in the second half didn't uplift his mood much, so it's his gameplay that might have been at fault. The landmark fadeaway shot failed to catch his attention perhaps, or maybe he was thinking of how to improve himself. Whatever the reason, he wasn't present in the court that day, or if he was, he chose not to celebrate his teammate's historic win. Both aren't great options. They show that his heart may not be with Los Angeles anymore.
They're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out how to get to take fouls. You just have to do it more intelligently now.
James drives, and what a play. Great alley-oop.
The attitude of frustration on AD's face was especially hurtful, since he's said to be close to his teammate. I guess it's those closest to us that hurt us the most. Of course, both have seen a lot of grueling training sessions, risky career moves, and just the pressure of superstardom in the NBA. They must get each other. When they don't, you can imagine it's not great for the team.
Top 5 picks that are all playing for them and playing well. Cleveland is without Dean Wade. He's going to be gone as LeBron James gets the first bucket.
The Lakers would break apart if the team members didn't communicate with each other. Oh wait, actually, that's exactly what's happening, with a horrible season for Los Angeles that didn't sound like great team play. When AD suggests that his frustration was with the dismissal performance put up by all members, it doesn't seem too far off the mark. I mean, who wouldn't be irritated upon seeing a 133-130 loss right before your eyes? And there was nothing he could do about it from the bench. It's okay to even be annoyed at this moment, especially as it was a game they desperately needed. Though, interestingly, he's also apologized to the Kings camp for his weak reaction and downright indifference to his teammates' milestone. They both closed with mutual respect and an I love you that made purple and yellow the new colors of respect and sportsmanship. However, this purple-yellow streak didn't catch on for too long. Just recently, reports have made the rounds that tell me that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. This time, it was LeBron who went a bit rough. I'm not claiming that it has anything to do with the Oklahoma City game, but it's certainly upped the profile of the legend King James.
Into the second row.
Whoa. Row. That thing was going, gone.
To keep up with the legendary status, he's got a lot of expectations riding on him, and he's willing to take it to the finish line too. He sent a message to the public on the All-Stars weekend saying that he wanted to play all 23 of his remaining games for the Lakers. To him, they are the most important thing in his career right now. Some say this message was directed at AD first and foremost. NBA analyst Chris Broussard drew this connection, calling it a warning to AD to pull up his game too. If AD can't pull it up, well, there's a rumor he might be traded to the Mavs over the summer. It's obviously the King's dream to keep up his game. And the 22.5 points per game that AD's averaged since his return doesn't seem too promising. He can still do better though, doubling down on his rebounds with 12.9 rebounds per contest. His last against the Pelicans was also promising enough, with 28 points, 5 assists, and 10 boards.
Another look at Anthony Davis with the swinging hook shot over the top of
a much taller defender.
The rumored shot taken at him by the Akron Hammer was a new one though, and it just told us how much LeBron's geared towards closing out in legendary style. Anthony would need to do his best in the following games, and heal his right foot, and the only time he has for that is during a long All-Star break. If he doesn't pull his weight through, you can bet LeBron won't like it. You can bet it's a lot of responsibility on AD's shoulders now. Whether he likes it or not, Tuesday night has raised a lot of questions about whether he can live up to the new star power generated by his teammate, if AD even wants to do that is. So far, the gaps between LeBron have been huge, even before the OKC game. On one hand, AD barely made 23 points per game as of late. On the other, there's LeBron, who's hungry as ever, with a competitive streak that's only getting stronger with each new win.
The mishandle in the fast break. Bobo has, I've got the block angle. Oh wait, he's going to pass.
He's averaged 30 points per game this campaign, and looks like he's gotten rid of the ankle soreness that had been trailing him starting this year. Comparisons will inevitably be drawn between the two players who may be too huge to be on the same team. If one of them doesn't play on the same level, for whatever reason, then it makes it all look more than a bit odd. And while the King's back into action in spectacular form, the Davis and his right foot stress injury continue to lag behind him and even pull back. AD was brought back into the spotlight for perhaps a frustrating comparison with his superstar teammate. It could very well have been a painful comparison for him to be constantly evaluated by his teammate. The analyst for ESPN, Jalen Rose, put it like this: can they continue to play together? Things may have reached the point of no return between the two players on that historic Tuesday night, but I think it may not have to do with mutual hatred or anything of that sort.
Rebound by Westbrook, Smart right there, Beverly and Reeves, and the cutting James to Davis. Nice basketball both ways for these teams here in the last minute.
But just plain discrepancy in their play levels at this point. Of course, that opens enough room for some resentment. Being the best and still feeling like you'll lose due to someone else is a big hit to your confidence. On the other side, your self-esteem can take a beating when, intentionally or otherwise, the media is constantly taking shots at you for not performing like someone else. Haven't his 8-time All-Star medals deserved some respect? I imagine that for someone in AD's position, this type of commentary must be tough to hear out.
Oh, good move by Russ. Bounce to AD, can't finish. Gets it back, scores, slam it down, big fella.
See what AD did on, see what AD did on his second attempt.
Similarly, LeBron must be increasingly frustrated that he's not getting any better. Recently, the speculations by Colin Cowherd have also been making the round. This time, the Fox analyst reports that it is LeBron who's unhappy with AD, mainly for his poor sportsman spirit during the shot that sealed the deal for him. It's a question I think the 29-year-old will be asking himself too after an unfortunate foot injury continues to hamper him down, even as his very teammate, at 38 years old now, becomes the NBA's all-time leading scorer.
Coming to the end of the third quarter. LeBron James, a shot in history. LeBron stands alone.
And that's all for why the King might have a beef with his Davis.